Hi, all. My name is Kevin Butters, and I'd like to take a few moments to introduce myself. I was born and raised in Kearney, Nebraska, where I graduated from Kearney High in 1995. I spent a few semesters at the University of Kearney, but really had no direction or idea of where I wanted to go with my life. So after about 2 semesters, I dropped out, joined the workforce to find something that would interest me. Attending UNK at the same time as myself was the woman I was destined to marry. Beth and I got married in June of 1999, and we just celebrated our 20th wedding anniversary, which seems extremely crazy because I swear I'm only 20 years old, but I could be wrong on that one. I worked in a series of jobs while she was getting her bachelor's degree. We lived in Norfolk, where I worked for a photographer, editing photos, cleaning up senior pictures, things like that. She got her degree at Wayne State. After that, we moved to Youngstown, Ohio, where she was getting her master's degree in English literature. I worked at a couple different places, including Bed Bath & Beyond as a receiving manager. Lots of jobs that I didn't really like. I didn't wake up every morning and go, yay, I want to go to work. Um, my wife finished her master's degree. She didn't really want to go on to get her doctorate, and she could only teach as an adjunct at the time. So she wasn't sure what she wanted to do, and she couldn't find a job really for someone with an English literature major. So we decided it was time for us to travel while we could before we had any children or a permanent job. So we decided to up and move to Japan. We lived there for 5 years, which was a great time. I taught at about 12 different elementary schools and a couple of middle schools, while my wife also taught at a middle school. She did a little bit more of the grammar, helping kids learn how to speak English, conjugate verbs, all that kind of stuff. Where my job was a little bit more of how to get kids acclimated to foreigners, learn a little bit of vocabulary so that when they did get to middle school, they'd be ready. A lot of times I'd come into class, we'd play some games or just learn a few words. And I'm sure many of the Japanese teachers watching me probably would have been horrified how I taught. It was very much learning how to teach by the seat of my pants in the moment. I had to look things up online to try and figure out how to teach some kids some things, and I stumbled into things like anticipatory sets, things that you would normally learn in your undergrad, and I just kind of had to figure it out. I did have some theater background, so I kind of had the idea of getting kids excited about things and being up on stage in front of kids, but it was the best part of it was just making connections with those kids, having fun, and it's something I'll always remember. It also gave us a great experience in traveling around the world on that side of the world. We went to Thailand, Taiwan, we went to Australia, we went all over Japan, and we met a lot of people and made good friends from there. When we returned, because my daughter was born, she was about 2 months old, and there's only so much Skyping you can do with a grandma before she gets a little bit upset that she can't hold her granddaughter in her hands. So it was about time to move home. We had lived there for 5 years, like I said, and by that time it wasn't super exciting and it wasn't boring. It's just like anywhere else you live. You kind of get used to things, and it was pretty much time for a change. So we moved back. We moved to, while we were in Japan, my wife got another master's degree in education. So she landed a job teaching English, or AP English, excuse me, at Grand Island Senior High. And I went to work in several other odd jobs, but all I could think about was the time I had spent in the classroom. So I decided to go back to school, went to UNK, and got my undergrad in elementary education and graduated in 2017. For the last 2 years now, I've taught fifth grade at Lincoln Elementary School in Grand Island. I have two daughters who I get to take to work with me every day. Hannah, who is now 10 years old, and Emma, who is 7. For Christmas last year, we also got a husky from the Humane Society. Teddy was kind of a present for the girls, but let's face it, he's really my dog. I love being back in the classroom and helping students And this is the kind of job where every morning I wake up and I'm excited to go to work. I have fun. I even work, on things, lesson plans on the weekend, and don't gripe about it because it's kind of fun and exciting for me. The things that I like is a lot, but I kind of tried to break them down. I like to play guitar, especially when my daughters can sing along with me. Although calculus is a little bit dry, as you can see in that photo. I do like math, particularly statistics. I kind of find that interesting. I do most of the cooking. Well, I do all the cooking, excuse me, at home. So I love to cook. My daughters are old enough now that they can help me out, and I can teach them some things. So that's very fun. I like to craft with my daughters. I have a picture there of us at Home Depot making, I think it was a planter for flowers for Mother's Day. But I think that kind of stuff, hammer and nails type of things, are things that kids don't get to do a lot these days. So I think that's a good experience for my daughters. I love movies. I love all sorts of movies, but Star Wars is one of my favorites. So when we went to Disney World this last summer, I, of course, had to get a picture with Chewbacca. So that's what that's all about. My girls are getting a little older, so they like to solve problems, and so do I. So we like to do escape rooms now. They're a little bit smarter than me sometimes when it comes to clues that I tend to overthink. They're a little bit more obvious about it, and they can get quite a bit of things answered by themselves. I love to eat. Who doesn't, really? But that's what the picture of me and the oysters and my wife is. I've loved comic books ever since I was a little kid. I loved them, and now that all the comic book movies have come out, I get to relive a lot of my childhood without my brothers bullying me and treating me terribly. But it's rubbing off on my daughter. As you can see, she liked to dress up as Captain America when we went to our last comic convention, and we got a picture with Captain America as well. I do like binge watching shows. There's a lot of shows out there, and they're all great. But current one I'm on right now is Jessica Jones season 3, which is really good. And last, now that we have a dog, I really like hanging out with him because he is my dog. Thank you very much, and I'm looking forward to collaborate with y'all.